Hello, salam, shalom, namaste, satyakal, aloha, hola, ciao, and bonjour. It's so good to be with you today. And guess what? We have a very, very cool guest. And I'm sure you're going to be so happy you're joining us. Our guest today is Aisha Khan, who is a sales leadership coach. And we're going to be talking about how to sell with ease. How amazing is that? So please, Aisha, please jump in and tell us more about who you are and what you do.
Oh my God. Firstly, thank you so much for inviting me here and giving me this opportunity to share my journey and talk a little more about sales leadership and why it's important to make the whole sales thing a bit easier for women specifically. So what I do is I help business women, specifically service-based business women, to pitch their offers, to sell with ease, and to actually understand how do they market themselves into the world and attract premium clients. So when I got started with this, I realized that one of the biggest things is that we women are really programmed differently from how men sell, right? Because they already have that air about themselves. They already have that inner confidence about themselves. Not all of them maybe, but so many of them, they have that drive within themselves. But when it comes for women, we like to second guess ourselves. We like to make everyone happy. We want to make our neighbors happy, our far off cousin happy. We want to make our kid's school teacher happy. When it comes to that, we stuck in that zone of becoming a perfectionist, and that debilitates us from taking that action towards actually seeing that kind of result, right? And because we associate that with also integrity, we don't want to be wrong, we don't want to be sounding sleazy, we don't want to be annoying. If I do this, what if people are put off by this? And we really hold ourselves back. But when you really like when I would work with my clients and go to the bottom of why is this happening, it will always come down to lack of confidence, lack of leadership skills. They don't exactly know how to pitch their offers, how to
Yeah.
communicate the value of their transformation, like all of those things. And that's how I got started into this field. And I personally did struggle with all of those. So that's why I feel like when someone goes through the struggles themselves, they get how to like make their way around it. So that's who I am. Alhamdulillah.
Yay, I love that. And I so appreciate, when the coaches and trainers and healers, um, they are so honest and authentic about the struggles that they went through and the fact that they are now teaching what they're practicing themselves and what they have practiced themselves. I think that's so much more authentic. And I think I know when I have worked with coaches, when I am being coached, as the person being coached, I really appreciate that about my coaches. So I really love that about you.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you brought that up because I was having this conversation with one of my clients today, and I was telling her that uh, we sometimes feel that if I show my struggles, if I show that I'm really vulnerable, or if I show that, my life is not perfect, people won't buy from it, right? People will be put off, or they'll be like, she's still struggling. How is she going to help me? When in reality, when you really think about it, like my coach, my client, she's a productivity strategist. So I was telling her and like helping her step up in that leader's role of her life, both in her personal and professional life. And something that both of us understood was that even if someone does like a PhD in productivity, suppose, right? They will still not be as better equipped as someone who has gone through the exact struggles that a woman with kids, that a woman who's running her own business knows the struggles, lived through those struggles, will be more equipped to handling and helping those kind of things, right? So we
Yes.
can all become like, we can all give strategies, like we can all give advice, but that doesn't make good coaches. Good coaches are born from actually helping people overcome those things, helping people discover themselves and transform their life from within. So it's not only about the strategy, it's so much more about understanding and how this is fitting in with their life individually,
Yes.
right? So I
Yeah.
really like that you brought that up.
Yeah. I mean, that's such an important part of like when you say you're a sales leadership coach. You know, what you were saying is it's about really because if you have that leadership component developed and you know you're able to stand strong in your identity as a leader, then the sales part actually comes pretty easy because
Mm,
people are
definitely.
naturally inspired by you. And
Mhm.
I wonder if you could talk a little bit more about who you see as a leader, what your concepts of a leader is. So when you're working with people and helping them become sales leadership coaches, what does that involve? Like what kind of things are you working with people on?
Mhm. So firstly, I love that question because we usually get leadership confused with as in like I have a huge team of people that I need to be managing, so that only then I'm a leader. When in reality, a lot of leadership is internal. It's about am I really seeking that validation from outside world or am I giving myself? So it's more about practicing that skill of self-validation and going to the depths of why what is it that makes me feel I'm not capable. So once we get that foundations right, and then we go on to building authority in your niche, building authority in how do you stand out, building authority in. So it's not about standing out from your competition and making your competition irrelevant. So I'm not about putting them down because sometimes I work with clients who could become potential competitors, right? So it would be wrong of me to be helping this client a little better and not helping the other client. So for me, it's more about helping them shine in their own light, embody their own brand in a manner that the right people, so I call those hell yes clients, will be magnetized with them. Like two people could be selling the exact same thing, but someone who's looking at them will have a clear idea as to yes, this person is for me. Yes, no, this person doesn't match my energy. It doesn't suit me very well. It's
Yeah,
about helping them shine in their own light,
yeah,
helping them discover. Because I've realized that so many people are out there doing similar things, but there are so many more people who are still selling in those particular things, right? So it's
yeah,
more about how do you bring your unique flavor into it? How are you embodying the concept yourself, right?
yes,
So that's about what we do and then position them correctly. And like something which I teach in all of my programs is making sales not sleazy. So it's more like selling without selling. Like as you just said a few minutes ago about how when you position yourself as a leader and you embody the concepts yourself, you embody your brand, you're communicating the value of transformation well, what happens is the right kind of people will want to work with. And I know the industry standard, they always talk about, you only convert like 2.5 percentage of your leads and this and that. I believe that you stop attracting the wrong leads itself. You start attracting only the ones that want to work with you, and you can let that rate jump to over 5% sometimes. I have seen that happen.
yeah,
And that happens because you're really selling in a non-sleazy way. You're selling through leadership, you're selling through storytelling, you're selling through your own brand embodiment. And there are like so many other techniques where you're basically selling without selling,
yeah.
right? That's the approach that I take.
I love it. I absolutely love it because honestly, I couldn't do the work that I do if I had to do selling in a sleazy way. I just couldn't.
I
Oh my
know.
gosh. Oh. Do you, by the way, make a distinction between sales and marketing?
Awesome. So I would say I had this thing where people get confused about both of these things. So marketing is putting yourself out there. So it's more with your social media strategy, your ads, and things like that when it comes to marketing. But I think what I have understood or what my understanding of sales is, sales starts right when the idea is born. When you are doing the demand analysis, that's when you have to understand, that's when the sales really start. So you're understanding, okay, fine, this is the product that I have. Who really needs this? What's the demand like? So it's not that people have this confused that they think sales is like the last element of your business. Rest of all is the production and this and that. But when in reality, right when you have that idea and you had that ideation process is exactly when the sales actually starts. When you're validating the demand, when you're like, this person, this category or this target market would really require this, but would they pay for this? That target market would really pay for this. So
Yeah.
it's that's how sellable is the offer, right? So it's about all of that, and then how you're selling it through the marketing material. How apt is your sales message? How apt is how are people responding to that, right? So all of that is part of the sales communication process itself. So I feel like it stems from within then to the end when you're actually closing. And in fact, I believe it's also about after onboarding. So it's not like you got the person in and that's it. There's like process after that. How are you handling them? How are you nurturing them? So even the customer relation is important because they then become your PR, or they then upgrade with you or like invest in more programs by you. So it's
Yeah.
like the whole cycle that
Yeah.
involves sales.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for bringing that up. There are stages to the sales cycle, and so many people don't realize and understand that there are at least two really important things that I would love to highlight and dig deeper in with you. And the first one, you just mentioned in passing the idea of validating the demand of what you're wanting to sell. And that's something that you have to get into right when you begin to conceive of that idea. Can you talk a little bit more about that process of validation of the demand for what you want to sell?
Mhm. So I have seen this a lot where we are just creating offers out of thin air,
Mm,
or sometimes we see something doing well, someone selling something really well, and we're like, oh my god, I should be doing that, I should do that. Or you're like, I have been a good mom, so let me just become a mom mindset coach. I have been doing this well, so now let me become this. And the biggest problem with that is, of course, you can make that happen, but the time that it will take for you to gain that skill set, to gain the knowledge, to gain the understanding, and then going ahead and doing that, it's gonna like it's gonna be a lot of time, right?
yeah.
So this is where I feel like sometimes my clients, after working with me and they really understand all these things, they really get like, I want to change my niche, right? And it should be totally fine. So I have had people who were previously like mindset coaches and stuff, but then when we niched down their demand, they were like, no, if I feel like I would be better at doing this because I have been living this all my life, and I have done really well in this, right?
Yeah.
Or they could be like, I have been like a social media manager, and I feel like this is right. So it's about understanding, because when your offer is so much more that you believe in, because I strongly believe that what really sells is your energy and your confidence, right? No matter how amazing your product is,
Mm,
if you're like, I don't know, this is the price of the product, this is the price of my coaching package. Yeah,
mhm,
no problem. Yeah, if you want discount, I'll give you a discount. Rather than that, if you're like, what, this program is really going to transform the way you do this. This is going to transform you, and communicating that value. It's that
mhm.
energy that really sells the other person.
Yeah.
And that energy comes with how much do you believe in your offer. And if it's an offer that you crafted just a few weeks ago, or these are the concepts that you just came up with, it's going to be hard for you to sell them,
Yeah.
right? But if you're like, this is something that I'm strongly believing in, right? So that is when that comes with creating offers that are really aligned and that are really having that demand, right? Validating those offers and understanding, is this an aligned offer? Is this something that I have tested? Is this something that will work, right? That's when
Mm,
you're able to step it up and really create that kind of demand, products that have that kind of demand, which in turn makes it more sellable.
mm, yes. Oh, thank you for sharing all that, because I think this is such a key aspect that people don't realize how much of effective marketing and sales is actually about going through this kind of validating and testing process. And because they don't realize it and then they don't engage in this process, it makes it so hard for them
Mm-hmm.
to actually see the results that they want in terms of their sales. So this is when we talk about making sales fun and easy, this is actually one of the key aspects of how we make it happen.
Absolutely. That's what I feel because I've seen this a lot wherein everyone is like, I want to make it big. I want to make it big right now. Next month, I want to be hitting this figure. I want to be doing this. Of course, that's possible for you, but think about it logically. If it was that easy, and if it was like, I'm not denying the fact that really there is the concept of flow, there is the concept of manifestation, but
Yeah.
you cannot skip through. And even if you do, what happens is that success won't last. It's not something you can replicate unless and until your foundation are not strong. So if you're gonna have that rush, I'll tell you, I'll be very honest. Back when I started, I was like, how is that working for me? Why am I not signing clients immediately? And then I had to really dig down and spend that time of a few months and a few weeks where I was like, what am I even doing? Should I really be doing this? Is this even worth it? All of that comes into play. But then you go back to your foundations, you create aligned offers, and you're creating offers that you're passionate about, that you want people to know about. You know how transformation that can be. That's when the whole thing starts clicking in.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Are there any other major problems that you notice, especially in the context of working with women, that make it difficult for them to engage in sales? And what can we do about it? How can we solve that problem and make it more fun and easy?
Okay. So one of the biggest things that I see is it's something that so many of us do. It's like something so natural, but this is like the habit or the new pattern that we need to be developing,
Mm,
wherein we're not finding things so that it means something about us. So maybe
mm,
someone didn't reply to your message, they ghosted you, or
mm.
someone said no, or someone who you thought would sign up immediately, they didn't sign up, or someone you thought would like a post, they didn't like,
Yeah,
something like that. What we do is we attach it all to ourselves. Okay, fine, I'm not good enough. Okay, fine, my offer is not good enough. I
yeah,
shouldn't have done that.
yeah,
Why am I really putting all this effort?
yeah,
And then you go into that spiral of second guessing yourself. Am I even worth it? Should I try something else? Should I change my niche? Should I do this? You do all of that on your own. And especially I've seen this that everyone is like now everyone is like, I'm gonna make it without any support. I'm gonna make it without any support in my business. I'm gonna make it without any support, mindset support. When in reality that doesn't work like that. For things to work out, for you to be making it big in life, a lot of energetics being are into place, right? There has to be a lot of mindset work that has to be done. There has to be someone to really hold you accountable, to someone to really show you what's possible for you, right? Someone to actually see your blind spots. I remember where I was like, oh my God, I am so amazing. My offer is amazing. I'm going to sell out. When in reality, you can't see your blind spots, right? There was this really good quote that I once read and it always stuck with me was the fact that uh, when you don't brush your teeth for like a few weeks, for a few days, everyone else around you can smell it except for yourself, even if your nose is right above your mouth. So that's how blind we are to our own blind spots, right? And I strongly believe that one of the biggest things that we can do is not try to find things to make them mean something about ourselves. We women also have this thing about negative self-sabotage. We're like, this must have gone wrong. I must have done something. This person didn't respond. Maybe when she was reading your post, maybe her kid was crying in the background. She didn't listen to it properly. Maybe the fact that she said no to you had more to do with her life where she was. Maybe she was going through some relationship issue and she didn't want to have like a coaching commitment right now. Maybe your message that you thought that she didn't read because she didn't value it, she read it while she was driving, right? Rationalize things. Stop trying to make everything about yourself. Once we do that, and once we really shift, right? So this is something that I actually practice with my clients also, like having proper kind of affirmations wherein you're like, I'm really stepping out of my ego that seeks to be liked and validated, and I'm stepping into my higher self that is that is willing to be of service to every life that we touch. Right? This is something that the more you practice it and the more you embody this, it will become you. Because you know, I see a lot of people who are like, I want to make it so big, and what happens is when you're starting out, you don't realize how much mindset work is required even for you to start showing up for your brand, right? Or either you're so confident and
Very
you're in such a rush that you're doing everything. You're like throwing spaghetti on the one you're expecting it to stick. You're like, let me do this, let me do that. You're at like 1K, 2K month, and you're applying the strategies that you have seen maybe like high-end industry leaders apply. And you're like, why is it not working for me? It's not
yeah.
working for you because you're not there yet, right?
Yes.
When it's time that we stop seeing what's working for others. It's time that we stop, decoding. Okay, fine, this worked for her, so this will work for me. She started doing this way. Let me do this. Let me do this thing this way, right? Really separating yourself from all of that and seeing what does make your business more yourself, right? These are a few things that I would say for someone who's like starting out in their business.
Yes. And I especially love what you highlighted about not trying to do things the way that someone who is way more successful than you right now in terms of like somebody who has an already established, polished
Mm,
brand and so
mm,
forth. Like the things that work for them are not going to work for you. I think this was one of the biggest lessons that I appreciated learning.
mm.
Um,
I'm glad. I'm
oh
glad.
gosh, it just makes it so hard when you're trying to do things like the big brands, um, because they have, when you have the big brands, that also comes with having a lot of resources and a bigger team
Support,
of
team.
people and
Exactly.
exactly and so for you as a single person or as a person with a much smaller team to try and do everything that these much bigger brands and companies are doing
Mhm,
with a much larger support team with much larger access to resources in terms of the fancy tech, for example, and
mhm,
so forth, um, to try and replicate that when you're just, especially when you're just starting out and you're by yourself. Oh my God, that's just
mhm,
signing up for all kinds of stress um and fighting a losing battle really. Oh,
mhm. That
Aisha.
is so true.
Yeah.
I felt that as well. Because I remember, like, this is not to bring anyone down, because I have been in that position where I'm like, let me see what I can do. Let me figure it out. So it's okay if you're in that stage where you're like throwing everything at it and seeing what works, but that's not the strategy, right? That's not like something that would work for you. It is important
Mm,
because this is what I tell my clients also, work on your foundations, work on building an like really hot, spicy audience who like the things that you're doing. You're learning, how do I fix my message? How do I communicate them? How do I stand out? How do I show people that I'm
mm,
the real deal for what you're doing? And everyone will have their own ideal clients, and there's no competition. Like I'm being very honest with you, I'm part of like so many groups and so many accountability clubs where it's not about me outshining them, right? These are people who really believe, like my brand is all about making sales easy. It's about adventure and fun and more on nature. Not doing too much of work all the time. Like what I do is I do the work a few weeks, I'm into the work, and then I for a few weeks I go out and we like go for like trips and tours and stuff. So
mm,
that's like the way if someone who is more into nature, more into traveling and stuff, they would be like, yeah, I would like that. So that's how you embody that brand for yourself, right?
yeah.
And the people who are aligned to you will want to work with you, right? So it's
Yeah.
more on working those areas. Mhm.
That's right. That's right. I mean, you just made me think about like all the different coaches that I've worked with where I'm getting coached and on what basis do I select them. And so much of it
Mhm.
comes down to feeling that rapport because, for example, when I needed sign up for a business coach, there are like literally hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of business coaches out there. And
Mhm.
I finally signed up with the person that I felt most aligned with, especially in the context of my values um, and like for me, one of the most important things when I'm looking at a business coach is that they're not just all about money, 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 but that they actually also have a spiritual orientation, that they have this um, awareness of the fact that our business has a huge impact on the environment and there's aspects of social responsibility to our
Absolutely.
businesses, you know, and so I cannot work with a business coach who is not in alignment with these values that I have of doing business in a way that is environmentally conscious, that is socially responsible, and that, you know, where I feel that sense of match in our values. So um, yeah, and the very things that turn me on about these coaches that I work with, there are other people who are turned off by
Yeah, exactly. It
that.
doesn't have to be. And I know one of the biggest things that I feel really happy about is when I get people into my group programs or into my one-on-one programs or even to like my small low ticket offers,
Mhm.
when they tell me that where have you been all my life, or they're like, I can't believe that I couldn't see this before, right?
Mm,
That just means that you're a match. And
yeah,
that's when transformations will happen. They should feel and believe that you can. I can sit here and say all of the strategy to someone who does not believe in me and they will not apply it, right? If
exactly.
you want like
Yeah.
good client results, enroll people only if they are in a match with you, right?
Yes. Yes.
Having that high integrity of not signing, not being like, you know what, I'm going to help you make like 5K. Come on, everybody come. Who wants to make 5K? Come here. This is what they, you will probably start attracting wrong kind of people who just want quick overnight success. They're
Right.
not on the, in the long
Mm,
like I sell with a lot of high integrity wherein I'm like, you know what, this is not going to be a piece of cake. It's not going to be happening overnight. But yes, if you're willing to go all out, take messy action, put everything that I'm showing you, and really trust me with this, you will get there, right?
yeah.
And people have gotten, alhamdulillah, people have gotten like 10 sales in like overnight, and there have been people who are doubting themselves and they're getting consistently booked out, right? So it is, sales can be easy. It can be done from a place of integrity. It is so much more about confidence and communication, which is something that no one really talks about, right? It's
Yeah.
end of the day, sales is a skill. You gotta have that things in place. It is communication and it is confidence.
Yes. And once again, thank you for sharing that. And just to sort of broaden the perspective for my audience, because some of you might be listening and thinking, what does this have to do with me? I'm not a business person. Maybe not yet. We'll see. Maybe in the future you might want to be. But even if you're not into business and so forth, you know, sales is still super important because sales is essentially just a skill of learning how to inspire people to say yes to whatever it is that you
Mm-hmm.
have on your heart and mind in terms of wanting people to say yes to, you know? So this is such an essential life skill.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of what you've been sharing, Aisha, you know, that that, you know, like raising your energy, raising your confidence, becoming a more grounded leader. These are all the things that you need to do to inspire anyone to say yes to anything that you want them to do, whether you're a parent trying to inspire your child to follow your plan of how to be the best parent-child, um, relationship, or whether you are a friend trying to inspire your friend to do something that you want to do with your friend, whatever it may be. So,
Mhm.
yeah, sales training is actually, I think, part of life training, and you can take some sales training and benefit from that in all areas of your life.
Mhm. I get it. Like I've had people where like when I sometimes address an audience, they're like, I don't exactly know. I'm not selling anything currently, or I'm a product-based person. Because once you have that ability to pitch yourself, wherein maybe you could be doing that for your job, maybe you could be doing that for like um, when you're like actually not necessarily selling, but convincing someone of something, right? If I want my sister on board for the idea that I have, maybe I'm like planning a birthday party and I want her to do a certain set of tasks, right? How am I pitching that idea to her, right? Because essentially, if I'm pitching that idea more centered it more around me, but what I want, me, she will not want to do it, right?
Yeah,
It's the same. If you're more about me, the job, you won't get that job. If you're more about me, the person will not buy from you. It's so much more about understanding how to actually, it's about negotiation. What
yeah,
fits well with me, how it's about making people understand that you get to where you want, you get to where you want, and I can definitely take you there,
yeah.
right?
Mm,
So it's about a win-win situation.
yes,
And creating and perfecting that is the life skill I feel, right? So it doesn't have to
yes,
be like that. And when it comes to leadership skills, I feel we women as mothers, we need leadership skills. You need to step up as a leader in your household. You need to step up
yeah,
and communicate like a leader with your husband, with your kids, and when you're, having relations, and when you're hiring like a maid, when you're hiring a driver, anything that you're doing, you need to step up as that leader in your life. Because if you're not doing that, your kids are seeing that and probably they are taking on that. Sometimes one of the biggest things that last year a post of mine got really viral, and like I had a lot of people talking because I spoke about how you need to become the woman you want your daughter to be. So
ah,
ask yourself what kind of a daughter you want, and then start showing up as that mother. That's the
yeah,
best way to actually see your daughter changing, or actually see your
yeah,
daughter in that empowered state.
yes. That is
Mhm.
so true. My gosh. My gosh. And so on that awesome note, that awesome bit of advice, I'm going to have us wrap up for today. But thank you so much, Aisha, for joining me. And I hope you'll come back and share more of your wisdom later, because I just love everything that you shared and your perspective and how you frame things. It's just been really, really joyful to have you.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. I love that it resonated with you. And, definitely we can do another round if you want, inshallah. And I love this. I love having empowering conversations. And it was great to be speaking to you. And thank you so much for inviting me.
Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode. Hope you're getting value out of it. For your information, this episode has been sponsored by the Happiness 101 program. Are you a change maker, coach, trainer, or healer? Are chains of fear holding you back from making the impact and income you desire? Using a unique combination of positive psychology and the spiritual wisdom of our most effective change makers, the Happiness 101 program helps you break through your limiting beliefs and manifest the abundance and success you desire with fun and ease. Interested? Book a free Happiness 101 exploration call with me, your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Just use my online calendar link in the show notes.